Waiting a minute so I can queue up the stream. All right, here we go. First off, the whole reason we're even doing this, let's put this movie thing in here and talk about it for a second. 'Cause dang, man, this is the whole reason I'm even going to do the stream at all, is because Square Enix decided to drop that trailer, and dude, I'm telling you,
we looked upon a foreboding sky.
I am excited about this.
The memory of the star that threatened.
Oh, when they first dropped this little teaser thing.
Dude, so sick.
And when it said Final Fantasy VII Remake, everyone went gaga and crazy.
Of course.
Because it's been long overdue.
Yet with each
yeah, it has. Yeah, it really has. Well, okay, I'll say this. Not many games get remakes. Final Fantasy III got a remake. Final Fantasy 1, 2, 4 got a remake. Final Fantasy 1 and 2 only got remasteries. 5 and 6 got remasteries. 9 got a remastery.
But after the long
10 and 10-2 got a remastery. 12 got a remastery. There's not very many that get remakes.
It may bring fear, but let us embrace whatever it brings.
Because 4 got transferred into 3D and got a whole new system. That was a remake. 3 got transferred into 3D with a whole new system. That was a remake. And now 7 will be the third Final Fantasy game I could think of that gets a remake. Because there's a legitimate difference. If you remaster something, you don't change what the game was. You just make it look prettier. A remake says something different.
Yeah, I know 10 and 10-2 have been the big remasters so far, along with 11-ish.
Well, everything got... Because Final Fantasy 1 got remastered for the PlayStation. It got remastered for the Game Boy Advance. It got remastered for the Wonder Swan. It got remastered for the PlayStation Portable, and that was the best one, in my opinion. And then Final Fantasy II got remastered for all of those systems, I believe. And Final Fantasy IV got a remastery on the PlayStation. Final Fantasy III did not get a remastery. Final Fantasy III got a remake on the 3DS. And then Final Fantasy IV got a remake on the 3DS and a remastery on the PSP and PlayStation and Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I think most of the cases have been like re-releasing onto like PSP and PC and
No, there was no voices on PSP and whatnot. They were just remasteries. The only ones that got voices were the remakes, and there's only 2 of them. And that's 3 and 4, and that's it. So this is a big deal that it's getting remade, because that means that something about it is going to change. It's going to be legitimately different. So this, what I'm about to play right now, this is a remastery. Let's put that in quotations. This is a remastery. No, this is even remastered further than what the PC got, because I have it on my PC as well. It's not by much, but they did a little bit more to it when they ported it to the to the PlayStation 4. I remember how much this intro blew my mind the first time I ever turned this game on. There's a symbolic gesture taking place here that is magnificent. It shows us the universe, stars, life, creation. Then it zooms out to show a person. Somewhat insignificant. We didn't know she was a character. And then it shows on her and it focuses the tightness of the universe, the story, the individual struggle. Then it pulls out to show Midgar, which is once again the expansive universe perception. Look how big this is. And then it pulls back in to focus on a single event in time, which is the train. It also shows us that chaos surrounds individuals in this universe by flashing the train running forward. There's a massive artistic expression taking place here that I don't see in any other intro, and it's so subtle, but it is there.
Yeah, I got a feeling they might do something like this with the remake whenever they announce it to be coming out.
Oh, I need to fix my options.
Why?
Because I think I had the sound turned down for one of our live broadcasts that we used this game for years ago. So we're going to go into config because we want to actually get a little bit of this world here. Nothing too big, nothing to overpower the stream or whatever, but we want about, say, 30 on the music.
The sound. You have to actually hear.
Yeah, because that's a part of it, man. And then if somebody says the music's too loud or something, we'll go in and we'll correct it. Blue, just because the history of Final Fantasy Blue is so important, we're going to switch that to memory. I'm not going to do active battle because if we get the talking, I might end up sitting here for a second. Camera angle is auto. I like it to move around. Restore first, attack, indirect. I can live with all this. All this is fine. We are set up. Now let's steal this man's potion. Let's steal it again. And there's the very first battle that opened us in Final Fantasy VII. And I will say, this is, though, and we're going to put this in quotation, this is remastered. It does look better. The character models are a little more crisp, but at the same time, I wonder if I can appreciate some of the idea here. They did remaster it. It does look prettier. Everything about it, like the character models and everything, are a lot brighter. They couldn't do a lot with the backgrounds. They are map paintings.
And less squaring.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. These are map paintings. So most of what got remastered was not the backgrounds, it was these characters. And from what I understand, some of the dialogue was fixed.
Want to be less offensive?
No, just fixed. The translations were fixed in some cases.
Oh.
Like, I think Ares actually has her name. I think it is her actual name now. This is kind of cool, this beginning thing when they say he was in Soldier and they're arguing with themselves. They're like, should we even be trusting this guy? Like, who the fuck is this guy anyway? Then they say we didn't catch your name. This is actually important. It's a small thing, but it says, right here, it says Cloud. Well, Cloud and Strife actually go to the name of the story. Because his name is Cloud, he comes from a cloudy past, and he is right now riddled with strife. That is the reason his name is Cloud Strife. It's a play. His name was not just randomly chosen, it did serve a specific reasoning. And the reason Tifa is Lockhart deals directly with his character. Lockhart specifically is the girl that he grew up connected to, that he has always viewed as both his best friend and in the future possibly his lover, but there's something that's been clouded in his past that he no longer sees her directly that way, but she is the one that he still confines in, because that's the only reason he's here, is because of his Lockhart. And no matter how far they get driven away, even another girl in the scenario, when push comes to shove at the end of all of this, those are the ones that will be together.
Yeah. Although, I think later on in the Advent Children, they do seem closer, but not as close as you might think.
They're together, but then Cloud gets sick, and he removes himself from the situation. I also find it interesting that in this game, when we start it, we are not the good guys. We are terrorists. We are not the good guys here. What we are about to do will cause massive damage and possibly loss of life to hundreds of people. But it's for the planet. And you could argue that either way. It's for the planet, yes. But what we are doing, like these soldiers that are attacking us, they're dead. Like, we kill soldiers in this.
It's not as bad as what they do a little later on, and that's drop a whole section on a city.
Yes, but we did start this. We're not good people either. We are fighting against an evil organization, and you could scream heroism, but what we are about to do here inconveniences, damages the lives of hundreds of people, causes that knee-jerk reaction which will kill thousands of people, and we are killing soldiers. And we get a look into that later on when you see that Cloud was a soldier himself, and not just a soldier, but an actual Shinra soldier. Those are just guys. They're literally just doing their job.
Is this the first time that they've done this to a reactor, though?
Because this group is called Avalanche and it's already known, I'm going to say no. I don't know if so much a reactor, but I think they've been causing trouble already. They could be the kind of people that planted bombs or did who knows what.
Because I kind of wondered if they have at least tried to blow up one reactor previously, or a few.
And we never get full ideas as to their past either. We understand where Barrett came from, because we'll stick around with him. But a lot of these characters like Biggs and Jesse and whatnot, see, think of how many people risk their lives just for this code. We don't know how many members of Avalanche have already died in what they're doing.
Yeah, see, I don't quite see Avalanche as a full terrorist group.
But they are. Terrorists...
I see them as resistance for something,
but they're not. They are terrorists. The word terrorist gets a certain kind of ideal today, but terrorism is decided by the powers. It's a philosophical difficulty, but a hero and a renegade change depending on who's telling history. Like, when America fought Britain and fought for our, quote, independence, we were not the good guys in that gesture. If you were to look at the history books of that moment and the situation at hand of that moment for Britain, we were the bad guys. As far as they were concerned, they weren't doing anything wrong, and they didn't know exactly what our problem was. We were the zealots. We were the ones that were attacking. So, from perception of one person to another, this idea can change. And by the end of the game, these guys are heroes. But right now, by the status quo, by the news and the society that we witness, especially with how important Shinra is to the world overall, we are terrorists. Because Shinra's important. Shinra touches every single fabric of society across this entire world. They're responsible for creating jobs. They're responsible for constructional purposes. They've expanded technology. They've pushed us to the forefront. They've kept people healthy and happy. They've changed life as you know it by creating automobiles and things of that nature that have connected the world through different forms of social media, television, networking, things of that nature. Shinra is important to the very fabric of their society. And that's also the reason Shinra's not being questioned for what it's doing. They're not good guys. But neither are we, depending on what point of view you go with.
Yep.
Because it's just like when Luke Skywalker hurts the Empire. That was good for Luke Skywalker and the Rebels. But it actually, if you actually read up on it, we hurt a lot of people by destroying the Empire. We caused massive galactic hunger. We destroyed billions of jobs across the universe.
Yeah, I was going to say, when they blew up the Death Star twice, it's like, okay, how many normal, everyday people were working maintenance and stuff on that?
Well, there could have been quite a lot, but it's also the economic and social fallout. The Empire, for all that it's worth, the Republic and things like that, and democracy and things, yes, people had their opinions, but there was also a lot of people that were ignored under the guise of this republic, and there were a lot of people hungry, and there were a lot of people damaged, because not everybody got a fair voice, and that's just the difficulties of democracy in general. But this here, what's interesting is that the Empire, it's said multiple times in all kinds of different continuities and all kinds of books and all kinds of research, when the Empire was in control, nobody had to wonder where their next meal was coming from. There were jobs and there was food on the table. You didn't get to make any real choices, but you did get to live. Life is not guaranteed under the Republic. Your voice is somewhat guaranteed, but it's not a perfect system. So one could argue that had the Empire just simply been left alone, a lot of people's lives would have been better for it. And we are dedicated. That's the first save. These map paintings drove me crazy. I thought they were magnificent back when I first looked at them when I was little. Not quite the magnificence that I remember. And it's not just the remastery. These don't look that good. I believe that's supposed to be a flashback. We don't get to see anything of it, but that red...
With his headache
I think
thing.
he's hearing Zack from years ago. Like, I wonder if you could even, because of all the material that we have now, I wonder if you could play Crisis Core and pick up that exact line.
Well, I know they kind of do stuff with it when they did the abridged Final Fantasy VII too, so...
Yeah, but I don't really pay attention to Team 4 Star's jokes. Kind of like Dragon Ball Z, they turned everything into Dragon Ball Z into a joke, and while that was funny, they got a lot of material wrong when they did it, like turning Krillin into an absolute joke. Krillin is a respectable character. Yamcha's a joke.
I think they kept Yamcha as a joke, too.
They did nothing with Yamcha. Yamcha constantly claims to be a cool guy, and he talks with like a cool voice, and they make one or two jokes in his direction, and then that's all they really do. Like they say, I don't know what a Yamcha is, but it sounds disappointing.
Disappointing.
Yeah, but then that's about all they really did with him. Most of the time, they just kind of made fun of Krillin all the time. And Yamcha was let off the hook. And I get that they were playing it for comedy, but that's also something to say about their Final Fantasy VII. They're probably playing it for comedy and not breaking it down seriously. Okay, he's still doing rifle. I don't want him to, like, put his tail up in the middle of what I'm doing. In fact, Barrett should heal. I was laughing because of the way pronunciation happens in these games. I was telling Shane, I was like, just wait till this game comes out remastered and, or rather remade and voiced, and his name turns out to be Beret.
Wasn't there an issue with Aerith's name too?
Oh yeah, she's had 3 different names depending on the translation you play. She's been Eris, Ares, and Aerith. Kind of like here in America, we call the girl from Final Fantasy VI Tara Bradford. That's not her name. Her name is Tina. And that kid Bartz, he, a lot of people say that translated directly, his name is actually Butts. And then they make jokes saying he's from the town of Licks. That's a pronunciation difference. He's from the town of Ricks. But because in Japan, that R sound doesn't exist like that, he comes from the town of Licks. So he's Butt of Licks. Let's see if we can't do this real quick. Now that we've beat him. Dang. Let's try down here. Facebook is giving me crap right now. I don't know why. There, let me post that. I don't know what its problem is with the other page. Okay, let's see if it actually posted here. Dang, that didn't work. Something happened. Let me fix this, then we'll move on. I'm just like sitting here on this screen. It's got to be nice and boring for anybody that comes in.
Final Fantasy VII HD Hangout.
There. Okay, well, for some reason I could post it everywhere else, but I can't post it to my actual timeline. It keeps telling me that I've already posted it. And maybe I did somehow with like signing in or something, but I don't know how I would have done that. Okay, give us the timer. There's his... Let's get out of here. Doop-a-doo-doo.
Run!
No joke. Rude. More rude. Oh shit. Barrett's leveling up. Climb ladder slowly. Jess got her fucking... Jess got her foot stuck. You could leave her, too. And then you actually have to come all the way back. If you leave her, you have to come all the way back. Because she's the only one that can open that door down there. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't even think about her. I literally just got to this point and said, oh, gotta go. And I seen the timer and I just ran right past her, got all the way up the stairs, and then I couldn't open the door because I didn't have her and I had to go all the way back and get her. Dang, she just left us. Like, she's not even on the elevator. She straight up was like, good luck. Thanks for helping my foot. Yes. Surprised nobody's jumped in yet.
I mean, on the chat thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Nobody's really jumped in on the stream yet. Oh, there's somebody. Yeah, when you first get out of here and they take you on the train and everything, I remember you have to watch that little movie thing twice because you watch it once with Jess and then you watch it again with Tifa.
Tifa, yeah.
Boom! I remember this part always kind of irritates me because she's sitting there putting this bomb and it's making that clinky noise.
Clink, clink, clink.
It's so weird to see how this was remastered because they remastered all the 3D stuff they could, but they couldn't really go back and touch up the map paintings. So, like, they really stand out and they're all super HD color and everything. And then the map painting is real, like, droll and kind of grays and browns and... There's that Loveless thing, too. That didn't really become a big focus until later on when they did Crisis Core. Somebody just knocked her right on her ass. Nothing. Hey. Don't say many flowers. I'ma buy one. Only one kill, which means I'm sassy. Because later on, she'll sell to the other guys that are a little different from Cloud, and those guys get way different prices than one gil. He has a mouth. Look at his mouth. Did they have mouths before the remastery? I don't seem to remember them having mouths.
I think barely. I think much like here, it might have been a teeny tiny line.
Yeah, see, because Avalanche had already been posting crap all over about how they were going to change things and everything. They may not have been as serious of a group, but they were a group before he showed up.
Later. Oh wait, you're gonna fight him.
Yeah, really, there's no reason not to. It gives you a little more experience. It's not much, but every little bit means something in these grinding games. The more you run away from fights, the more you regret it later on when you're trying to reach higher levels. Oh, got another person in. Oh, another person in. I was talking to a couple people, just a couple days ago I was talking to some people asking what we should start calling the fan base for Fandom Night.
The fan base?
Yeah. There are people like you see it a lot, like there are certain fan bases that give themselves names.
Yeah, I think one person tried calling the fan base like some kind of a-holes of a fandom or something like
Fan
that.
holes is what he was calling them.
Fan holes.
Yep. Then I also seen that a couple people were calling themselves soldiers of fandom and squires of fandom.
Since we're the knights.
One guy was trying to get the idea for the Legion of Fandom.
Meanwhile, in the Legion of Fandom.
Oh, that 3D video. Oh, man. Holy crap, that's bad. Whew. What is he doing up there that makes that noise, that makes them all look up?
Some kind of knocking on the top of it, I guess, or
like,
walking.
Why would Cloud be sitting up there like just like drumming on the top of the train? Like, there's something so ridiculous about how these noises are placed.
We're doing some gymnastic stuff up there.
I like how Barrett's response to "let's talk about the job and money" is punch that box repeatedly. And then they're like, oh yeah, never mind.
Punch. Punch.
Yeah, no shit. I remember the very first time I seen the Glyphies, and I knew that he was supposed to be cussing, and how excited I was that this game was all adult.
I thought there was a version at one point where it did show the swearing instead of the symbols.
Not that I've ever seen. I'm sure there's probably a hack or something for it, like a mod on the computer, yeah. But then you'd also be taking a lot of guessing as to what the guy's actually saying. Is every time it glyphs, is that the word fuck? Because he says shit, and he says damn, and those words are allowed. And I wonder if he says ass. I wonder if that's not allowed. Like, there's weird words that he was allowed to say and words that he wasn't allowed to say, so they would put the glyphs up.
Maybe words that aren't good to go over in Japan or something like that.
Well, no, because it was translated for here. Our game has nothing to do with them. This game's definitely not in English in Japan. See? I knew it. A good portion of them don't have mouths. But for some reason they added a mouth to the main characters. See, they're talking about the security mode. That's something they're not even that used to yet. They have experience sneaking onto things and doing that. Because you could tell, because Jess knows how to make, like, she knows how to make the fake IDs and whatnot. And she knows how to trick the systems. But when you really get down to it, they're even talking about it in the first train ride. They say, this train has not switched to security mode yet. I'll bet that'll change tomorrow. And then Jessie talks about how she's going to have to make IDs for everybody, and she's going to make yours special.
Special.
Which actually ends up getting you caught. That's why the alarms go off the next day. And they didn't even give time for this to sink in. They blew up the reactor, and like the next day went to blow up the reactor. Like, no time at all passed. They didn't lay low. They didn't allow it to sink in. They didn't let the media, run rampant with it or anything. They just immediately jumped right in to blowing up the next reactor.
Which kind of makes me wonder if they did blow up at least one other one beforehand.
They're also talking about how years ago when Midgar was first here, the towns were a lot more proud and they all had names. Everybody was excited to be a part of this giant metropolis. It was a big deal to build here. This was like a shining beacon before all the land around it started dying and everything got gray. But then they just took that. A lot of people did not take that as Mako energy. A lot of people just assumed that that's part of city. That's part of city life. We kill all the plants around us and everything. There's a lot of pollution. It's the city. It's what it is. You don't go to New York to see the giant, green, luscious, flowing forests. You go to see the giant buildings because everything else is pretty much dead or fake.
Well, except for Central Park, but...
Which is still somewhat fake. They do a lot of maintaining to keep Central Park where it is. Yeah, and then she even says right here that we definitely look suspicious. We use fake IDs. So she's already programmed fake IDs, but these trains haven't even gone to the security mode yet, which means that she's already been anticipating that there will be problems. And that means the team must have already dealt with some situations and knew that they'd have to do it. And she just said right here, now we're going past the security check. This is where they're going to check our IDs. But the train itself hasn't gone to something they call security mode yet. Because Biggs was saying that'll happen tomorrow for sure. So there must be a type of scanner system that we pass by that checks IDs automatically. See, next time I'll make one just for you, and then you could say thanks anyway or looking forward to it. Whatever you say doesn't matter. She will make yours special, and that's what gets you caught tomorrow. Biggs fell asleep. Talking about how Barrett shouldn't act so damn big. This is where Barrett goes, talking on his whole ideas. And he's so mad at the Shinra that he only thinks logically a little bit. He's so mad that most of what he thinks is irritation and anger, which is somewhat justified, but at the same time, it's also a big part of his problem, is he's very prone to just doing instead of thinking things out, and knee-jerk reaction of his anger. And he keeps talking about how the planet's dying and they don't care, and look at everything, it's dead. And then Cloud puts it to him, he says, okay, so life is so damn bad, why doesn't everybody just move? Why do they stay here? If it's really so bad, what are they doing here? And the only thing Barrett's got is, well, maybe because they got no money. Or maybe no matter how bad the land is, they love their land even if it's polluted. But the truth of the matter is something different. These people, it's close to what's going on with us. We have electricity. We have cars. We have all these things. And social medias. We have television. We have entertainment. They have the same stuff. They're going to movies and enjoying life and doing life things. And so, in terms of the Shinra has increased the quality of life for hundreds of thousands of people. It's not something Barrett likes, but Barrett lives here too. And he's not really exactly standing against it. He has video games and crap. He has the bar with a game and TV and things like of course that's Tifa's stuff, but regardless of what I'm saying is he could have left here. He could have left and he could have went out to the world and he could have lived off the land. For as much as Shinra is killing the planet, which this is a true statement, there were other places he could have went. Because the rest of the world is very green. Once you leave Midgar, all this gray goes away. Like, they talk about how hard the planet is dying, and it is, but it's not to the extent that Barrett makes it. He could have politically attacked the situation. He chose to blow shit up because he's mad.
Yeah, because I know in where Aerith lives...
Right.
It's not fully green or not fully gray and black, but it's got some color.
Oh, there's a lot of color. Not just some. She has full gardens of sunflowers and everything else.
Well, I don't mean the church where the sunflowers are, or where...
No, her house. We'll get there.
Oh, yeah, they were outside. Yeah, they were outside.
Yeah. That's this guy's special place. This is the big giant support beams that keep the plate from falling on us.
Yep, the one that's going to get destroyed.
Which is kind of scary. Look, I'm just going to say, what Shinra does is wrong. But you chose to live under a gigantic plate of death. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a city on top, and the city on top, I'm sure that's a status symbol for all the other guys to say, oohs and ahs and front beach property kind of, mindset. Looky what I got. Looky, I've made it. But you guys chose to live underneath a giant plate of death. If I built my house, I would not be comfortable if some corporation came around and built a gigantic slab of concrete above my house that was as thick, if not thicker, than my entire house. I would say, hey, why are you doing that? And they would say, we're going to make a city up there. And I would say, I think I'm going to move. I would cut my losses, sell the house for as cheap as I could, and go get an apartment not underneath a giant slab of concrete. Kind of their fault. We all make choices. Now watch me walk up these stairs slowly. Yes! Slowly.
Yes, Cloud scares kids.
No, she just wanted to see her dad. Now, you know something right here? That's a storyline piece that I didn't answer the question exactly. Had I said, no, we didn't fight, she actually says something about how we used to fight all the time when we were kids. And if you really stop and think about that, that's not possible. We didn't grow up together, Barrett and me. Barrett and Cloud did not grow up together. So that's her testing things. She knows that something is wrong with her friend. She doesn't know what it is. And she can't quite put her finger on it, but there's things that he doesn't remember. There's things that he doesn't seem to know anymore that he should, and that scares her. And she's trying to get some kind of information. And she's been testing the waters because she'll say certain things and do certain things throughout the course of the story where she'll let him lie. And she's testing it to see, is he lying? Or does he really believe that stuff he says? Because she knows something's wrong with him.
Yeah, because from even what I remember of the main story itself, because I've never beat the game, I've seen how the story goes, but because from what I know, he probably shouldn't even be in that attire.
He's not supposed to be. He never made soldier.
He was a grunt.
He was a Shinra soldier. He was just a Shinra trooper, which, like I said, at the start of the game, we're killing off Shinra troopers. Those are just guys with jobs. They just work for the Shinra Corporation. Tifa, that's gonna be a real big situation soon. They're gonna talk a lot about that for this remake. Because I'm already hearing about petitions and whatnot to change Tifa's body type. I'm not okay with that. I think they need to leave her alone. And I think it's not because I want to see Tifa with big old giant boobs. Like, that's not what this is. I honestly and truly believe that we're causing a different problem entirely by changing her body figure. There are girls out there that are moderate. There are girls out there that are heavyset. There are girls out there that are big. There are girls out there that are petite. There's all kinds of people in this world. And you cannot tell me that Tifa needs a breast reduction because she's ridiculous. Because there are plenty of girls out there that are busty girls. They exist. They are real people. And why should we shame them and then leave something like Barrett alone, the walking steroid factory? He's ridiculous. If I'm to, like, if I was to be irritated, that's something that it just, even that example doesn't work 100%. Everybody's different. Look at this one room that we're standing in. This is important. Jessie is a smaller girl.
Yeah.
She's not as wide as Tifa. You can look right there. Look at Tifa. Tifa is a little wider. She's a little broader. She's got broader shoulders. She's got a bust. She's probably built. You get what I'm saying? Jess is not. Jess is a smaller, leaner girl. Then you look at Biggs. Biggs is one of those tighter, smaller guys. He's about your average dude with some muscles. But you go over to Wedge. Wedge is a big, fat dude. That is what he is. He's a big guy. But then if you go over to Barrett, Barrett is different. Barrett is one of those dudes that spent every night since his waking birth in the gym. And he never missed any day. Not leg day, not even neck day. Every single person here is different. And the only reason Cloud is as strong as he is because he's been genetically enhanced. Otherwise, Cloud is like the smallest dude in the room. He's a skinny, petite, feminine-looking guy. Which is proven to us later when he actually passes as a sexy woman. Which is fun and lighthearted and makes us laugh. But if we really analyze the room, there's not a person in this room that is of the same body type. And that alone tells me that Tifa needs to be left alone in this remake. She needs to be allowed to be who she is, because body shaming works in multiple ways. It's not just the idea of making fun of somebody that's fat. Sometimes a girl that developed early will suffer different slurs and whatnot throughout the time of her growing up for being pretty. And it's the same with guys.
The only ones who might be remotely similar, and I do mean remotely, would be if you stand Cloud next to Biggs.
Right, but I think Biggs is Cloud. I think Biggs is actually built better than Cloud. Cloud is small and lanky. Look at Cloud's shoulder blade here. And I realize these are awful character representations that we are looking at. But look at Cloud's shoulder. You see how tiny that is? Now, when we go down and look at Biggs, Biggs' shoulder is bigger. I think he's lean like Cloud, but I think he's buff where Cloud is a little skinnier. I think that, how am I putting this? I think both of them are strong. Both of them are in shape. But I think that Biggs is more cut. Give me that drink. And I've heard a lot of people dog Tifa's outfit. Tifa is a bar waitress in the slums. She's also very proud of her body and what she's accomplished because she's a hardcore martial artist. She grew up learning martial arts from one of the greatest martial arts masters on the planet. She is not ashamed of the abs that she has developed. And if you want to talk about Tifa's outfit and then not talk about some of the dudes that are walking around, come on. I think Tifa fits the atmosphere of what this is. She looks right to me. I believe her character. See, right there, she stops him for a second and says, Cloud, are you feeling all right? And then he turns around quick like, yeah, why? And she says, no reason, you just look tired, I guess. She's been testing the water with Cloud. She knows something is wrong. They were giving it away from the very start of the game. See, Jessie's real tiny. She's smaller than Tifa. I really believe that. Now, do you see the chest and the muscle shirt and things like that Biggs is wearing? I think that Biggs is actually supposed to be more cut than Cloud. See, and then there's news reports and things like that from SIN, which specifically says, today the #1 reactor was bombed. A terrorist group calling themselves Avalanche has claimed responsibility for the bombing. It is expected that Avalanche will continue its reign of terror. Citizens of Midgar, there is no need to fear. I have immediately mobilized Soldier to protect our citizenry against the senseless violence. Thank you and good night. So Shinra stepped in immediately to say, you can't fucking treat people like this. Primarily because people is what gives us money, and we don't want that to falter. But you get the idea. We were not good guys at the start of this game. Whether the cause was good or not, we did not go about it in a good way. You start the game as a terrorist organization. And then these two guys fight about whether or not Soldier was actually there, because Barrett can't wait to prove himself. He wants to be in the right, and he wants to show, you know, that's part of what's going on here. Is Barrett has this huge ego. He's the leader.
Oh.
Cloud don't give a shit. He just gets right up in Barrett's face, man. I want to talk about my money, he says. Shucks. Money? How did Tifa get down here? Did she just jump? Because the elevator never went back up.
Maybe.
And this is what's interesting about the hero character for this game. People have often told me that Cloud is emo or whatever. Cloud is in a situation he has no passion for. He doesn't hate people. He's not emo. He's not withdrawn in the same way that Squall is. Squall specifically tells us that people complicate his life. It's easier just to live alone. Cloud says right here in plain English, I don't care about neither Shinra nor Soldier. Then as he's walking away, he stops and turns around and says, but don't get me wrong. I don't care about Avalanche or the planet for that matter either. I'm just trying to live my life. I just happen to be in this situation. And the only reason I'm in this situation is because I'm doing it for Tifa, not you. Not the planet, not Shinra, not revenge. I'm here just because my friend asked me to be here. And if it wasn't for her, I'd have found something else to do. That's important to who Cloud is, because while Cloud cares deeply about his friends and the people he could consider family, he doesn't care about the situation that he finds himself in. That changes the whole dynamic of how you look at Cloud Strife. And then Tifa comes up asking, please join us. And she's the one that pushes the issue. And he's like, look, I'm sorry. I don't care. I'm not going to make decisions that will benefit you because I'm not a part of this whole thing. And then she tries to tell him the planet's dying, it's happening, someone has to do something. She tries to appeal to how he would care. And Cloud immediately throws in her face, he's like, so let Barrett and his buddies do something about watching the planet. I'm here to live my life, do what I do, then I will die, and in my life, that'll be that. I'm just passing through life and doing the things that bring me happiness or bring me the money to do the things that bring me happiness. You're my friend, and that's the only reason I'm here. All this crap that's surrounding you has nothing to do with me. And then that's when she's like, oh, so you're leaving? And she throws the friendship thing in his face. And then he takes a massively cut sum of money to continue working for them. But only because she wants it. He does care about the people in his life. He doesn't care about the situation he's in. That separates him from Squall. I also think this plays into her name, what I was telling you about. His name is Cloud Strife, clouded past, current situation riddled with strife. Well, her name is specifically Lockhart, and she is locked in an internal friendship with Cloud that has never died or dissipated. She's always been on his mind. She shares a history with him that is both deep and profound because they did move from children to adult. Haha! I'm back. My controller died. My controller died.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't paying attention to the battery levels. But yeah, I think that that's part of why her name is Lockhart. I think it's because just like a childhood friend that you leave and you don't see for like 7 years, and you come back and you pick up exactly where you left off because you kind of find yourself soulmated. That does happen with people. And I think that's the reason they named her Lockhart. I think there was a reason behind it. He even kind of misunderstands her situation too. I noticed that he tries to impress her. He's like, I'm leaving town, and she's like, everybody's leaving town, and she's not too happy to hear that he's gonna go away. And then he's like, yeah, but I'm not like those guys. I'm not getting a job. I'm gonna be in Soldier. And her whole thing is basically like, yeah, I don't care about how cool you become. She's like, it's pretty hard to join Soldier. I don't know. Do you want to put yourself through that? Because I would be happy with you just staying here and being my friend, and who knows what the future holds for the two of us. She was always connected to Cloud in a profound way.
Yeah, part of me kind of wonders what would... I don't know, I mean, considering what happens later on with Sephiroth and their hometown, if Cloud didn't have any training at all, I think he would have been wiped out. He
would have died. There's no way around it. He'd have died. If he'd have stayed in that town, never joined the Shinra, or had any kind of training whatsoever, or been augmented through the accidents that occur, he would have never survived that situation. He'd have been killed just like everybody else. And about the only thing that could have come close to saving him would have been Tifa, because Tifa still would have taken up martial arts, I think. And then you could also argue that maybe Cloud would have too. Because if his friend would have started doing it, maybe Cloud would have been trained too. So maybe they'd have tried to stand against Sephiroth as martial artist, and they'd have both died. It is this series of circumstances that allows him to live past that day and nothing more. And she even plays the childhood thing right there, where years ago when he said he was joining Soldier and everything, she told him, well, one day when you're a big hero, you're going to have to come back and see me. You're going to have to come back and take care of me, because this is where I'm staying. And it was a little childhood thing, something funny, something like, hey, you know, if you ever make it, don't forget about me. Well, here she is throwing that little childhood piece in his face because she knows that he does care. And she puts that down there with, hey, you know, you did accomplish what you said you were going to do. The second part to that was that you were going to come back here for me. And here he is. So he agrees to take another job. Not because he wants to, but because of her. Everybody acts like Cloud is some sort of emo character, and that's not what was going on here.
The way he gets first introduced, kinda.
It seems like it, but if you really pay attention to what's happening, Cloud was just in a situation he had no passion for. And we've all been there. I have no passion to watch Doctor Who. Like, this would be me watching Doctor Who. I'd be or wrestling. I'd be the dude in the corner while you guys were enjoying the show going, okay, whatever. That doesn't mean I don't care about my friends that are watching Doctor Who and that they actually have a good time with it. It just means I have no passion for the situation that I'm in. I'm going to answer.
See, I think there might be one episode that you might be curious about with the Doctor Who, with one of the more recent Doctor Who's.
Yeah?
It was more or less superhero based. So.
Right. This is also interesting too. You could tell how basic the people of Avalanche really are, because the people in Avalanche have not received the kind of training Cloud has received. Barrett doesn't know how to use materia. He has a general consensus, and that's it. And Cloud actually has to sit here and run him through the basics. You take this, you slot that into this, there are certain items and weapons that have slots, blah, 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 this and that. He had to go through that for Barrett. That's actually woven into the story. It's not just a tutorial, it actually builds part of the character dynamic. And right here, RPD Rookie says exactly what I'm trying to say. Squall had suffered a tragedy, and because of that tragedy, he chose to believe that it was easier to simply keep people away. People complicate my life. It's easier if I can just rely on myself than have to have you be a part of what's going on here. He was all about cutting people out. Cloud didn't cut out the people he loved. Cloud just didn't care about blowing up Shinra reactors. And even afterwards, he wasn't out to save the planet. The situation changes and he goes on another path, and they happen to follow him at that point.
Part of me kind of wonders, wonders if they could change it in the remake to have some way for the earlier Avalanche members to survive.
I think they have to die. I think it's integral and massively important to what takes place. And if they don't die, I think it changes certain dynamics that you probably can't get away with. These people have to die. Sadly, it's the tragedy of their own destiny. And by the way, I love the fact that this dude's name is RPD Rookie.
Raccoon Police Department Rookie.
Yep. I like how even after everything's explained, Barrett's like, alright, so that was like really simple and complicated? What if you just take care of all that? That dude didn't even know he was doing business. Okay, we have one restore, we have one lightning, we have one ice, we need one fire. There we go. That's all I'm worried about. I'm not necessarily jumping for the for the master materials or anything like that. I'm just looking to play through the game and have some fun. So we'll see what ends up happening, where my mind changes at different points or whatever. But for right now, we'll just make sure we have one of each materia and we'll be happy with it. Speaking of which, let's see. That takes her strength down. I don't like the idea of dropping her strength. Not that she couldn't handle that slight strength, but right now she's the lowest character, so we're going to drop the fire on him. And I guess we'll have her be the healer for right now, but we'll pay more attention to that as we go, because it's important to look at the materia and how they actually change the stats overall. It does make a difference in the long run.
Well, concerned what actually ends up happening to the good healer.
Well, you make the healer. That's why materia is so important in this game, is because every materia you add changes their overall stats. Some people have stats that make them better for specific things right off the bat. Cloud, obviously, with a 21 strength, but then he's already got 24 magic. So that makes him your highest magic and highest strength in the game already. But his spirit is very low. So if you want to make him the healer, that's probably not a good idea. Where right now, of the 3 characters I have, Tifa has the highest spirit, not necessarily the highest magic. So that's something to keep your mind on. Now, to be fair, Cloud has a 19, but Cloud is level 8, she's 5. So that's where my thought process is. And as we add and take away and change materia, it changes their overall stats. That's actually very important to the way the game works. Every time you add a materia, it increases or decreases or changes magic or strength or overall hit points or so on and so forth. So if you pay attention to your materia, you can get exactly what you want out of every character. If you want Cloud to be your healer, I don't know why you would want that, you could arrange to make it happen with the proper materia sets. No, I don't want all this crap. I just came in here to get the items. That's all I have to tell you, muscle guy.
I'm gonna log off for now.
You taking off?
Gotta change and get ready for the rehearsal, since big old photo op for participants in this production. Woohoo.
Right. So goofy.
Are they trying to do the YMCA dance?
Why not? I guess those were the only 2 items that were in here. Kind of weak for the beginner's hall. A lot of these beginner's hall usually have like a couple of like chests and things like that. Like in Final Fantasy VI, there's 5 or 6 chests. There's some items and things to get you started, and then there's the tactical information. This one's kind of weak. We're actually going to change him real quick. We're going to take off the ice. We're going to make lightning all lightning, and we're going to put the ice back on. And this guy's going to do our fire, and then we're set. Yes. Butthole. Actually, now that I think about it, I already did this, didn't I? Yes. Derp. Dun dun dun. Okay, everybody's all equipped. I believe everybody's set. Let's do the arrange. No, it's field stuff first. That's fine. Materia is set for everybody. Equipment is set for everybody. I only got 1 good weapon for him. She hasn't got anything yet. Iron bangles all around. Bangles! Let's see. Oh. See, used to give us nothing but headaches. I wonder if I could find this character in its continuity somewhere, if this is just throwaway. Does make me wonder if it was just thrown in, if it's just the tragedy of the kind of world they live in, or if I could find that character in its continuity, if these guys are important somehow. Used to give us nothing but headaches. He's gone kind of missing. Strange, isn't it? Huh. Who knows? And you can't watch the TV they're crying over, so I can't get any extra information. But it does make me wonder. Doop-a-doop-doo. Let me put the notice back out through my party and see if I can get some of the other Fandom Night guys in here real quick. There, we'll see what happens. What the? So that happened. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, that happened. What's up, guy? He just comes in. Yo! Barrett, I gotta admit, you're kind of an asshole. Hey, what's going on, man? What you trying 100%? Oh, that Tomb Raider still? Huh. I got as far as when she is in the sarcophagus. So, way towards the start of the game. I still own it. I still plan to go back to it. Just, it's the way my schedule works with me nowadays. I never have a lot more time than I, you know. Right. Really, so it's something in the way the game works. Would this be akin to the, what was it? There was a massive problem in part 2, was it? Was it on the train? You had to get like the crowbar or something, and sometimes it just wasn't there? Was that it? Yeah, and there was nothing you could do about that situation. Right. Okay, I'm in the security check. Now this is where Jessie messes up my ID because she wanted to make it special, and I get caught. We're gonna go talk to the bum before we run off this train. Yeah, even Jessie comes in and says, I'll explain later, I screwed up. I don't remember who you're supposed to talk to get items in this. I know it's it's not random, it's specifically people you're supposed to talk to. Get out of my way! Okay, whatever he took, I don't care. He can have it. Why are there, like, naked people on the train? I never noticed that before. I like how they just see. That's what I mean about tiny character moments. I think it's all too common that people miss tiny character moments. Right there, Cloud says, "Why did you come anyway?" And she turns around and gives him a slight look and says, "Because." And then the only guy that picks up on it is Barrett. He's like, "We ain't got time for that shit. Jump off the train." I like little things like that. I think that it's important to have small character moments that define how characters will develop or be. And I think it's all too often that people miss those tiny little things. Wedge has got his bibs on. Wedge looked just like a dude I work with. Speaking of which, I finally go back to work tonight. Yeah, I am on nights, yes. No, not yet. They will move me to first shift soon, I hope. I hope now more than I did before. How did Barrett even fit in this tiny little hole here? I've been saying that all day about the games I've been playing. I'm like, was I just carrying that bomb in my back pocket? I don't understand. That's the real mystery, isn't it? Oh my god, that was terrible. Hell bubbles. Those are some serious bubbles from that fish. These fish take a lot of damage. Be dead, fish. Damn. Next time, magic on fish. 'Cause dang. Funny how graphics not just change over time, but change in our opinions too. Because I can remember playing Final Fantasy VII and being awestruck at how these graphics looked. And now I'm looking at them, and some of it is just laughable. But it really did blow me away back when I seen it when I was younger. This was the cutting edge thing. Speaking of which, just out of curiosity, I would ask, what do you think PlayStation 1, what do you think its highest graphical achievement was? I would like to jump straight to Metal Gear, but then my mind goes to fighting games like Tekken 3. And because all they had to do was render characters, like, those are some really profound graphics. Really? You think? Huh. I wonder if you could look that up. I wonder if there's just something simple like to say what was the highest polygon count on PlayStation. Like if that was the only determining factor aside from colors and shaders and everything else. Because then one could also argue that, like, Symphony of the Night is extraordinary, but it's a 2D game, so everything was easier to do, you imagine, than on a big 3D game. I wonder if Barrett does the same damage from the back row that he does to the front row. Because I'm noticing, yeah, I know. I'm noticing that right now I just got back attacked, and while Tifa went from dealing out like 20 damage down to 9, Barrett just like shot a 29 from the back row, which makes me wonder if that gun just doesn't follow the same rules as like the sword and the knives and things. I wonder if you could put him in the back, avoid damage, and just not worry about losing attack. Whoop. So what do you have left to find? Is it just... Right. Hmm. What are you playing next? What? Yeah, so once again, what? Yes, okay. Really? Okay. Why? Not on PlayStation 3. It never made that promise for 3. Oh, I only noticed it on 4. I was never able to back up anything on the PlayStation 3. Yeah, before Phantom Pain was, yes, Ground Zeroes. My experience with the with PlayStation 3, that backup feature almost never worked for me. Every now and then I would find 1 or 2 games that might work with it, and even then it was sketchy as to whether or not, like if I had to move something over, most games would just make me restart. And why do I know this? Because I had to buy 4 of those fucking things. And every single time I had to buy those, I had to start the fighting games all over again. Yes, but that doesn't mean it worked. Oh, I must have been harboring a fanboy in here because right after you badmouthed the PlayStation, he left. You said the PlayStation 3 sucks, and he fucking left. I would like to remember. I beat that game twice, and I had nothing but bad luck with my PlayStation 3s. I don't know why, but it was the opposite. Everybody that told me about their problems they had with the Xbox, my Xbox 360 is still the same one. It's still sitting on the shelf right now. It still works. I can turn it on tomorrow and play whatever I want. My PlayStation 3, I had an original. Then I had the next one, because the first one I had was the backwards compatibility one. Well, I got what was referred to as the yellow light. I traded that in, got another one. I used that one for a little while, and then it experienced a problem what we call Shane. See, because I bought that one from Shane, and Shane would tell everybody every day about how thankful everybody should be that we can play this game because he gave me that PlayStation. If it wasn't for me, Bill wouldn't have bought this PlayStation. We wouldn't even be playing this right now. So I sold that motherfucker so that I could buy it and never have to hear about his graciousness ever again. And then that one that I bought, it did end up going bad. I'm trying to remember what happened to it. Oh, I had an update. No, I had an update. That is literally what happened as I updated the game. I updated my PlayStation 3, and I was one of the lucky motherfuckers that had the screw-up on the update, which crashed the fucking Blu-ray drive. And it would not work. And I waited 2 updates before selling it, hoping that they would fix it. They never fixed it. Whatever they did during one of the updates, there's a massive run of people that had a software malfunction in the update that shut down their Blu-ray drive. So I could still play PlayStation 1 games, but I couldn't watch any movies and couldn't play any games that required the Blu-ray player. And it wasn't something I could fix, because it was actually a problem in the update. So I sold it and bought the other one, and the other one had a power issue. And that one I gave to you, and that one you told me, this motherfucker is dead. So that was 4 PlayStation 3s, and I simply will not buy another one. Which sucks, because I have 5 games that are exclusive to the PlayStation 3 that I have yet to sell, because until they come back out, I can't do anything with them. Because they turned out to be exclusives. And sadly, the Virtual Console for PlayStation 4 did not do what I hoped it was going to do. I was hoping I could have just downloaded those PlayStation 3 games and been done with it, and then at least had the chance to play them, but it never happened. Nope. Nope. That was way weaker than I was expecting, to be honest. That was better. Man, why was my Braver so sad? Because I wonder if I didn't wait for the animation to fully turn him around so it counted as a front attack. Because it was only like 122, and then I shot with Barrett, and it was like 670 something.